High above the jagged peaks of the Cinder Range, the sky does not hold the sun or the moon. Instead, it is a vast, interlocking ceiling of cracked obsidian glass that has shielded the world of Umber-Hold for 1,000 years. No person has ever seen a star, and no bird has ever flown higher than the low-hanging clouds of sulfur. But today, a sound like 1,000 breaking violins shatters the silence of the high crags. A single, jagged shard of the sky, larger than a cathedral, is falling. It streaks downward, glowing with a cold, violet light that has never been seen in this sunless realm. Kaelen, a scavenger of the high ridges, watches in terror as the shard buries itself into the flank of the great peak. The impact does not cause an explosion of fire, but a wave of absolute silence that freezes the very wind in the air. As the dust settles, Kaelen creeps toward the crater and sees something impossible. Inside the translucent black glass of the fallen shard, a woman is trapped, her hand pressed against the inner surface. She is not breathing, but her eyes are wide open, and they are reflecting a sky full of tiny, brilliant diamonds. Who is she, and what world exists above the ceiling of the world? Kaelen reaches out to touch the smooth, freezing surface of the obsidian. The moment his fingertip makes contact, a surge of memories that are not his own floods his mind. He sees vast oceans of blue water, a concept he barely understands, and a golden orb in the sky that provides warmth without the need for coal fires. The woman inside the glass seems to blink. Her lips move, forming a single word that echoes inside Kaelen's skull like a thunderclap. Escape. Before he can react, the ground beneath him begins to tremble, and the mechanical guardians of the Cinder Range, the iron sentinels, begin their slow, grinding ascent from the valleys below to reclaim the fallen treasure. The iron sentinels are massive, three-legged constructs powered by the steam of the volcanic vents. Their single, glowing red eyes scan the mountainside, searching for the anomaly. Kaelen knows he cannot leave the woman to be taken by the High Artificers who rule the underground cities. He swings his heavy mining pick, striking the obsidian with all his might. The tool bounces off with a high-pitched ring that vibrates through his bones. He must find a way to break the glass before the sentinels arrive, or the secrets of the sky will be lost to the tyrants of Umber-Hold forever. In the distance, the clanking of metal joints grows louder. Kaelen remembers an old legend told by the elders of the soot mines. They spoke of the resonant stone, a rare mineral found only in the deepest magma chambers that can shatter any substance if struck at the correct frequency. He looks at the woman in the shard, her violet eyes seem to plead with him. He realizes he has no choice but to lead the sentinels away and find the stone. He grabs a smaller fragment of the fallen glass and sprints toward the narrow canyons, hoping his knowledge of the ridges will save him from the mechanical hunters. The chase is a desperate scramble over slick shale and narrow ledges. The iron sentinels are slow, but their reach is long, and they fire harpoons of brass that shatter the rocks around Kaelen. He leaps across a yawning chasm, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He slides down a long scree slope, disappearing into the darkness of a ventilation shaft that leads into the deep earth. The heat rises instantly, the air thick with the smell of burning metal and ancient dust. He is entering the forbidden foundry, where the world was supposedly forged. The foundry is a cathedral of gears and pistons, some as large as houses, all moving in a rhythmic, eternal dance. Kaelen moves through the shadows, avoiding the sight of the lesser drones that scurry about like metal spiders. He finds the central altar, where a single, pulsing vein of resonant stone glows with a soft, amber light. This is the heart of the world's machinery. He knows that taking even a small piece could destabilize the entire region, but the vision of the blue sky and the trapped woman is a fire in his soul that he cannot extinguish. Kaelen chips away a small, vibrating sliver of the amber stone. The moment it is free, the rhythm of the foundry changes. The great gears groan, and the floor begins to tilt. An alarm, a deep and mournful horn, sounds throughout the underworld. He tucks the stone into his tunic and begins the grueling climb back to the surface. He is no longer just a scavenger, he is a thief of the world's foundation. He emerges into the sulphurous air just as the first iron sentinel reaches the crater of the fallen shard. The sentinel stands over the obsidian shard, its metal claws preparing to hoist the glass into a transport carriage. Kaelen stands on a ridge above, the resonant stone humming in his hand. He holds the stone against his chest and lets out a long, sustained whistle, matching the vibration he feels in his palm. The stone begins to glow white-hot. He hurls the sliver down at the shard. When the two minerals meet, the sound is not a crash, but a beautiful, melodic chord that ripples through the atmosphere like a stone dropped in a still pond. The obsidian shard disintegrates into a cloud of fine black dust. The iron sentinel is knocked backward, its internal gears grinding to a halt as the frequency disrupts its core. As the dust clears, the woman stands in the center of the crater. She is dressed in shimmering white fabric that flows like water, and she breathes in the thick, toxic air of Umber-Hold as if it were the finest perfume. She looks at Kaelen and smiles, and for the first time in his life, Kaelen feels a warmth that does not come from a forge or a fire. "My name is Elara," she says, her voice echoing with the clarity of a mountain spring. "I am a navigator of the firmament, and my ship was struck down by the Great Barrier." She points upward at the obsidian sky. "This ceiling is not a shield, it is a cage. It was built to keep the people of this world from seeing the truth of the universe." Kaelen is stunned. Everything he has been taught, that the sky was a gift from the gods to protect them from the void, is a lie. The High Artificers have kept them in the dark to maintain their absolute power. But the destruction of the shard has caused a chain reaction. Above them, the obsidian sky begins to spiderweb with millions of glowing white cracks. The resonant stone has started a process that cannot be stopped. The High Artificers are now mobilizing their entire army. Thousands of sentinels and flying steam skiffs are rising from the city of Iron Gate, weapons primed to destroy the intruders and patch the sky. Elara tells Kaelen that they must reach the apex, the highest point of the world, to guide the remaining shards safely down, or the falling glass will crush every city in the land. They begin the climb, two small figures against the backdrop of a dying world. The sky continues to moan and crack, dropping smaller fragments of glass that sparkle like falling knives. The steam skiffs circle above them, firing bolts of blue electricity. Elara uses a small device on her wrist to project a shimmering shield of light that deflects the attacks. She explains that her people have been trying to reach the inhabitants of Umber-Hold for centuries, but the obsidian barrier was reinforced with dark sorcery that blocked all communication. At the very summit of the apex, they find the ancient transmitter, a relic from the time before the sky was closed. It is a massive spire of crystal, now covered in soot and grime. Kaelen uses his mining tools to clear the debris while Elara interfaces with the controls. The High Artificers' flagship, a terrifying leviathan of brass and smoke, looms over them. Its captain screams through a megaphone, demanding their immediate surrender. Kaelen looks at Elara, she nods, and together they activate the crystal spire. A beam of pure, golden light shoots upward from the spire, striking the center of the obsidian sky. The impact is final. With a roar that shakes the very roots of the mountains, the entire ceiling of the world shatters. Trillions of black shards fall toward the horizon, redirected by the light of the transmitter to land harmlessly in the uninhabited wastes. As the black glass clears, the true sky is revealed. It is a deep, endless indigo, filled with the burning light of a billion stars. The people of Umber-Hold emerge from their mines and hovels, weeping at the beauty of the universe they have finally reclaimed.